Hello and welcome to Truth Speaks channel. Today we are going to unveil how Nikki Haley lied about how Donald Trump has not said anything about what he will do differently in his coming term of 2024 presidency. Then we will share with you the truth.
The last 48 hours, Dana. I mean, first of all, you had election night. Trump gets on stage. He throws an absolute temper tantrum talking about revenge, but he says nothing about the American people, nothing about what he's going to do about the wasteful spending that he encouraged and allowed the Republicans and Democrats to do in his term. He said nothing about how he's going to secure the border and what he's going to do different that he didn't do when he was president before. He said nothing about how he's going to prevent war. Then he goes and says,
as you just seen, she just lied plainly. And yet, we know that if there is someone whom has made his mandate clear in every rally, is President Donald Trump. Now we will share with you his mandate. We all know that he is one president who will be very busy on the first day in office, making America again. Check it out.
Mr. Joe Biden is created for Hispanic Americans. I'll get it solved, and I'll get it solved and start the process on day one. On day one, we will start that process. That's why we're going to win the record share of Latino votes, the first time ever. We're going to get the record share. And we'll get the highest number of African American votes ever recorded. And I think pretty much everyone is agreeing on that. You know, Senator Tim Scott was on television yesterday, and he said Trump has done more for African Americans than any other president. Opportunity zones, I did that with him. Funding for the black colleges and universities, they had no funds. They would come to I'll never forget it. The heads of the black colleges, universities, they would come in and they'd see me every year. I say, after 2 years, I said, what are you doing? They said, for many years, we come and see the president and we have to beg. He used that term, a great guy. A lot of really good people, work hard. They came in and they need funds to keep their schools going. And then you have Harvard, you have all these other places with billions and billions of dollars, and they still get funds, which is pretty stupid, right? But they'd come in and they'd see me and they'd say, we need help. And after the third year, I said, what are you doing this for? And I got them long-term financing, more money than they asked for. And Tim Scott was relating that story today, and many other things, by the way. But you ought to look at opportunity zones. There's never been an economic development program, I think, that for Black Americans and Hispanic Americans, there's never been an economic program like that, opportunity zones, and nobody likes to talk about it, but it's one of the most successful economic development programs. And just to finish that off, I also happen to do a thing called criminal justice reform that Joe Biden didn't want, and a lot of people didn't want it, and a lot of liberal people and some conservatives, it's interesting, had a lot of conservative support and a lot of liberal support. Not a lot of support in the middle, but we got that done. So between those 3 or 4 things, nobody's ever done what I've done for the black community. And Tim, I appreciate Tim saying it this morning on one of the fake shows. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I'll get it done fast. I know them both. And we will restore on this planet peace through earth. I am the only candidate who can make this promise to you. I will prevent World War III, and we're very close to World War III. We're very close to World War III. And on day one, I will end crooked Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate. They weren't working too well in Iowa. It was 40 degrees below zero, and you get into an electric car and you hear a buzzing. I said, what's that, sir? It works in zero, but you start getting below zero. And you had those cars all over the place. It would be a good time to take one. You could have taken one. You could have had all you wanted. But it wasn't, they were not working too well in Iowa. Think of that. We voted on a day where it was 40 below zero, and we had a tremendous vote. It was like, those people are hardy people. Somebody said they're very hardy. The people of Iowa are very hardy indeed. They voted in record numbers, and I will end his American energy war. It's a war on American energy. It's a war. Just yesterday, Biden blocked the export of American natural gas to other countries. You know, he doesn't want plants built in the United States, even though that's the best thing you could do. This stuff has been worked on for years. I approved many of them. We got many built in Louisiana and other places, but he stopped it. Now, why he stopped it, I guess it was the environmentalists, I guess. But it's good for the environment, not bad, and good for our country. I will approve the export terminals on my very first day back. I'm going to be signing so many different mandates on my first day back. All of that stuff will be approved. I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical, out-of-control prosecutor in America for their illegal, racist, in reverse enforcement of the law. And I'm also going to indemnify all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States to protect them from being destroyed by the radical left for taking strong action on crime. We don't want crime. These cities are crazy what's going on. Hundreds of people yesterday walked into a department store and just walked out with everything. They emptied the store. Now the store is going to close. 5 years ago, they were all pushing for this store to open. They open. Now people are just walking in and robbing it. You can solve that in 1 hour. All you do is 1 hour. You have to treat the first one out the door of the next time it happens extremely tough. That means anything you want to do. And as soon as that word gets out and you let people know, from now on, you don't walk out with aspirin. You know, I have a building on 40 Wall Street, and we lost a big company, the big drug company where they sell drugs, drugstore. And I called the people. I said, what happened? He said, the people steal everything off the shelves. We have to build glass. They built glass containers on the shelves. They're still, this is not just New York, all over the place. It's like a new form of crime. They walk in, they just take a bag. In some of these places, they don't prosecute you unless it's more than $2,000. In other words, you can take $2,000, anything more than that. But even that, they won't do anything. Guys walk in with bags. They go like this. They push everything into the bag, and they walk out the store. And they actually had an employee that got into a fight with one of these guys, and the company fired the employee for doing that. What is wrong with our country? What's wrong with our patriotism? We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they've ever been before. And we will help them on crime because we're not going to let them be crime-ridden monsters. And we will take over our horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital so that it's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime, but rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world, which it was once before. You know, we didn't have the problem with, it's happened over the last couple of years, but 2 nights ago, 3 people were shot. They walked out, they come in from Nebraska, they come in from all over the country. 3 people are shot. They're just shot. They don't even know why. They're just shot. And people don't want to go there anymore. It's our capital. We will treat those people when we catch them. We'll catch them rougher than any people have ever been treated. And it'll all stop. It'll all stop. It's got to stop. Nobody wants to go there. And we will take all of the graffiti off the marble, and we will clean up the roads and rebuild the roads, and we will put medians in that aren't falling down all over the asphalt. I went there about a month ago for one of the Biden trials. You know, I got so many trials. I said, which one is it, sir? That's number 14. That's what they're doing. I got so many trials. So I'm going in. I'm going to a federal courthouse, which is in bad shape, very bad shape. But going there, I'm riding over paper that's been laying on the roadway. These are the major roads into Washington, D.C. Paper that's been laying there for 6 months. Cans, garbage. I say, can you imagine the median, you know, the median, the metal crap that they have that's always falling down before you even build the stuff. Somebody's a good lobbyist, but it's always falling down. I could ask Robert, what the hell is wrong with that stuff? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The day they put it up, it must be the sun, the heat, something. but it also gets hit, and it's laying out on the roads. And I'm saying, can you imagine you're the prime minister, you're the king, the queen of a country, you're the president of a country, and you're driving in, and you're driving over garbage to get to the White House or get to the Capitol, and you see roads that are in worse shape than most countries have, roads that have potholes all over them. You see graffiti all over the white marble columns. This is what's happening in our great Washington, D.C. We're going to take over Washington, D.C. We're going to federalize it. We're going to have the toughest law enforcement in the country. We're not going to have any more crime, and it's going to look beautiful. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. I'm not going to do it. And something I can't believe I have to say, but I guess I do, because who would have thought even 10 years ago this was necessary? Because there are politicians that think this is a wonderful policy because they're not smart people or there's something going on. I will keep men out of women's sports. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine weightlifting? You ever see the difference? Weightlifter. They broke the record by, I think, 142 pounds. The record stood for 18 years. They couldn't break it. A quarter of an ounce here, a quarter of an, they couldn't get it. This guy comes along. Have you ever lifted before? No, I haven't. Oh. He broke the record by like 142 pounds. I don't think that record will stand a long time. You know, if we ever get it straight, and we will, because I'm going to sign right away. But when that's straight, women are going to look back and they're going to say, who the hell was it that is 142 pounds more? So we're going to have to bring back those records, I think. What do you think? Yes? Yeah. Because those records aren't going to be broken within the next 100 years by the women. How about the swimmers, where you look at the swimmers, all these great swimmers, and all of a sudden this woman against a guy who's he looks like he's got the wingspan of the great Wilt Chamberlain, right? And he jumps into that pool, and the young women left and right, they're badly injured by the wind as he goes by. They get windburn. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment, and I did a great job in doing that. I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency, which is a big thing because they'll take all your money. They'll take all of your money, Don, and you won't know what the hell happened to my money. Of course, the court systems here like to do that, too. They do it there. That's like communism, you know? So it's sort of when you think it's like a communist move, but digital currency, what do you see? But we'll get rid of that. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and I will secure the elections like never have been secured before. Because if we don't have fair and honest elections, and if we don't have border security, if we don't have strong borders and strong elections, we don't have a country. We don't have a country. And remember when I used to talk about the wall? I built this tremendous amount of wall. That's why we had the best record. But they used to say, walls, we don't need walls. We need things flying up in the air. No, you need walls. Because there's only two things in history that work long term. Everything else is obsolete. You do a new computer, it's obsolete in like 3 days. Walls and wheels. You always have walls and wheels. A wall has worked for a long time. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. But until then, Republicans, you have to win, Republicans. Go out and win. When we get in there, we're changing it around. We're going to get rid of all the stuff.
That is all we have for you on Truth Speaks. And please subscribe to our channel so that we can continue to bring the best news analysis and the truth to you. Thank you.